I told you that Italian grandmothers have spotless homes, can make copper pots shine like mirrors using leftover tomato paste, and their plastic furniture fortress, it isn't tacky, it's genius. Hey, I'm Robin. I'm a retired ER nurse who has been fascinated by how different cultures approach home care and health. And let me tell you, after years of observing what actually works versus what we think should work, Italian Nonnas have figured out something that the rest of us are missing. Now, houses all over Italy and the world where there are Italian communities and Italians, they maintain incredible cleaning standards using many of these same routines. And it's not just a few perfectionist grandmothers, which are also known as Italian nonnas. And my pronunciation on a lot of this is probably going to be wrong, and I am sorry about that. Anyway, it's an entire cultural approach to home care that we can learn. Now, there is the Nonna philosophy of un po' ogni giorno, a little every day. So what if I told you that Italian nonnas had cleaner, healthier homes than most of us today, despite having no dishwashers, robot vacuums, or cleaning services? Either we let things get out of control or we will exhaust ourselves with weekend cleaning marathons, then watch our homes fall apart again by Tuesday. Meanwhile, the 80-year-old nonnas maintain museum quality homes without breaking a sweat. Their secret, un po' ogni giorno. I am so sorry. A little every day, it prevents everything from piling up. And this isn't just a cute saying, it's a complete mindset shift. Instead of letting mess accumulate until it becomes overwhelming and completely impossible to manage, you handle small tasks daily so they never become big problems. I've actually experienced this lately. When I follow an easy daily tidy routine, I surprise myself with how much free time I actually have. Instead of spending my entire Saturday cleaning, I'm doing it 10 to 15 minutes throughout the day. And my weekends are pretty darn free, and I love it. Let me walk you through how Italian nonnas actually have structured their days for centuries. And this was not random cleaning. It was carefully orchestrated routines where every moment has its purpose. And by evening, everything was spotless without exhaustion. And of course, I do want to say, not all Italian grandmothers, Italians, I'm trying not to generalize here. So let me know what you do, what your Nonna did, what your neighbors did, but this is sort of just like an overall. Okay, so let's start with the early morning. We have the sacred ritual, Aria Fresca. Now, before Italian coffee, which is delicious, and I've seen some incredible TikToks about that lately. Also, before breakfast and before even getting dressed properly, Italian nonnas perform one ritual that sets the tone for their entire day. They will take their carpets, their rugs, and their bedding, and they will put it over the side of their balconies to freshen them up. They strip them off and they head out there. They shake the rugs, they say hello to or ciao to their neighbors. And the coolest thing is Italian nonnas often turn the loneliest of household chores into community events that strengthen neighborhoods. They have communal laundry at the lavatoio, I'm sorry, public wash houses, balcony to balcony conversations. When cleaning becomes social, it just transforms from drudgery into connection, which I really like. Also, major cleaning days involve neighbors helping each other. Isn't that nice? They would share techniques. They would borrow equipment, as in you didn't have to own everything like so many of us do feel like we have to now. We're like, I need to have it all just in case. You can borrow. And they turn overwhelming work into social time. There's just something about cleaning with other people that makes it completely different. When I clean alone, I just focus on how much work there is. But when I'm cleaning with others, which is often either listening to a podcast or chatting with a friend on FaceTime, it feels good. And maybe it's a bit different, but potato, potato. We're talking, we're laughing, and suddenly the work is done. Anyway, back to the morning. After putting the linens and the rugs out, they would then open all of the windows for fresh air and circulation. Now, I'm obsessed with this since I started in late winter. The crisp winter air was amazing. And now with the gorgeous, sweet spring air, this is just so fresh. The house feels completely renewed and I am ready for action. My family, maybe they're worried that I have joined some kind of fresh air cult, but they are not complaining about the results. And the science behind why this airing out of fabrics and fresh air into the house is because it removes moisture that breeds super duper gross dust mites and eliminates trapped odors. Plus, it helps fabrics last longer, and that delicious burst of fresh air first thing in the morning, it sets a completely different energy for your entire day. After a delicious Italian coffee, or in my case, tea, and I know some Italians must be drinking tea. I do love me some tea. They make their beds with that fresh aired linen, so nice. Then they would tackle the foundations of a clean home, which is the floors. Now, Nonna's discovered floor cleaning methods so effective that cleaning experts are still talking about them decades later. But just like pizza or pasta, there are regional variations in Italian floor cleaning. Some families use the very interesting and fancy mappina method. So they soak an old dish towel in sudsy water, maybe in the sink, maybe in a bucket. They then wring it out and they lay it flat on the floor, and then they push it around with their broom handle. After you scrub for a bit, then you flip it and you spin the towel to use all sides. Then they're going to rinse it and then put it back in that sudsy water, back on the floor until it's clean. Then they wash it, air dry it until it is completely dry after each use. It's sort of like playing some weird version of Swiffer hockey, but with floors that have never been cleaner. At least that would be the Canadian version. Now it works because the tea towel is clean before each pass instead of using dirty mop head or old water. Plus, you can see exactly where you're cleaning up because the towel shows the dirt and you're not spreading dirty water around your floors, which I used to do. Other people, they stick to traditional mopping, but they're probably using a clean mop head every day, or they're hand washing the floors on their knees. The hand floor cleaning method is my new favorite, which is very strange. And I have to say, I have been inspired by the Italian nonnas because what they agree on is daily floor washing. So when you clean your floors daily, it takes 10 minutes instead of like an hour or more. Dirt just doesn't have time to build up, stick, or require scrubbing. It's lightning fast. The first time I cleaned Nonna style on my knees, I did discover a whole ecosystem in the seam where the floor and the island meet. And I was like, oh my goodness. So in modern times, the Nonna will often run the vacuum really quickly around, targeting dust in every corner and crevice every day. Or they're just gonna go ahead and sweep. Tile floors are super common. Next, they clean the bathroom thoroughly. They're gonna buff down those countertops, wipe down the bath and the shower, polish the fixtures, clean the windows and the frames. Same in the kitchen, just a nice quick clean. They scrub and polish the countertops and the sink at least once a day. Now, they are really scrubbing that sink because it has to be clean because of all the fresh produce that they are cleaning for their meals. After that, they're gonna go ahead and pop outside for some fresh air and just enjoy sweeping and cleaning the balcony or their deck or their patio, whatever they have. And they're just taking great care of their stuff, which I really do enjoy. You, and that is just the morning. Now, something interesting is I grew up in a small town in the interior of British Columbia in Canada, and it had one of the largest Italian communities in BC, and most of my friends' grandparents were from Italy. And it was so cool to see their nonnas in action. They would wear an apron, not always this style. Well, this I think is kind of a Japanese style that I'm wearing, but they would wear, you know, another kind of style often that I would see. And I'm not sure if it's called a cobbler style or a smock style. You tell me. But as I noted before, their homes often had tile floors throughout. And they also had pristine furniture that was protected under plastic. More on that later. And the whole home, absolutely spotless. The smell of delicious marinara cooking, and a Nonna who insisted on offering you anything from cheese to cannoli. They had gardens in their front yards instead of grass, which is like, why waste the space with grass? And I'm going to tell you, I have done the exact same thing. partially because of where the light hits, but I love it. It makes so much more sense to be growing things. They would have Roma tomatoes, basil, zucchini, eggplant, and fennel, plus of course the essential herbs of rosemary, oregano, and parsley. So let's get back to our routine. Next is lunchtime. They would dine on fresh pasta with a simple sauce, maybe aglio et olio, which is garlic and olive oil, veggies from the garden, and a little meat and fish. Healthy and delicious. After lunch, the Italian nonnas have a table cleaning rule so strict it would make restaurant health inspectors weep with joy. I don't know about you though, because often I will leave the placemats out on the table because I'll be like, there's another meal coming, either today or tomorrow. Not the nonnas, no, no, no. They're going to put away their stuff. Actually, I know a lot of people who tell me from the comments or in our community that they keep stuff piled on their table all the time and they don't like it. Nonnas are like, no, no, we are not doing that. They always want it cleaned up immediately instead of waiting for problems to build up. Their rule is simple: immediate clearing and wiping after every meal with a scrape everything off approach. Now this prevents gross stuck on buildup, and they would never leave dishes overnight. And I might do that from time to time. Like if the dishwasher is full and has been run, I will just leave it and do it the next day. Not the nonnas, they would probably hand wash it if they had a dishwasher. Now, when I implemented this rule, my family thought I had become the table police as far as like clearing everything off. But now they automatically clear and wipe after eating. And it's just so nice to sit down to a clear table for the next meal. I had divided it up with the 3 boys, and now only 2 live here and one's busy. Anyway, you get it. They insist on maintaining continuous tidiness and organization, and they keep all surfaces dust-free and clean. But here's where it gets interesting. While we're spending good money on cleaning products, those Italian nonnas, they discovered that the best cleaning supplies were hiding in their kitchen all along as just like leftover ingredients. So here is the copper miracle worker: tomato paste. Now, I wish I had some copper pans I could show you this on, but here is what they will do. This is perfect Nonna ingenuity. The natural acidity in the tomato paste dissolves copper oxide tarnish without harsh chemicals. So you can go ahead and mix it with salt and apply to the tarnished copper, let it sit, and then wipe it clean. I love the idea of pasta sauce as cleaning supplies. It's just perfect. It's like having your kitchen, it has its own identity crisis. Is this dinner? Is this housework? Forget, it's just gonna be amazing. Now, I mentioned the small town I worked in before. I worked in a very popular local Italian restaurant, and we used a great combination of oil and vinegar as salad dressing. Very simple, right? But it actually is an incredible furniture polish. The olive oil conditions the wood, while the vinegar cuts the grime and it keeps the dust away longer than commercial polishes. We're basically running a restaurant that moonlights as a cleaning service. It's like in You Don't Mess with the Zohan, where they are putting hummus on and in everything. Now, Italian nonnas use lemons for everything and not just food. They would clean meal prep surfaces, removing stains from white clothing, polish brass fixtures, and make surfaces shine, because the natural citric acid, it cuts through grease and it leaves everything smelling so fresh. I will take lemon scented anything all day, every day. Do you love lemons? I am curious. One of my sons doesn't, and I think that's very strange. Anyway, they would rub half a lemon on a cutting board after preparing garlic or onions. Use lemon juice mixed with salt to scrub away stubborn stains. But you can't understand Italian cleaning culture without understanding how food and cleanliness were completely intertwined. Italian nonnas weren't just maintaining clean homes. They were creating spaces worthy of the incredible food they were preparing. So just picture this: a pot of marinara sauce simmering on the stove for hours, filling the house with the most incredible aroma, making you so hungry. While Nonna moves through her cleaning routine, the kitchen stays spotless naturally, even while cooking, because every spill gets wiped up immediately, every utensil gets washed as it is used. I love that. Now, are you a person that likes to clean as you go? Because I do. Now, the sauce gets better with time, the kitchen stays clean, and the whole house smells like heaven. I'm pretty sure the marinara sauce was 50% tomatoes, 50% love, and 100% made in a kitchen cleaner than most operating rooms. Now, I want to share a quick story. When I was a kid, we also had a neighbor who had bought a giant wheel of cheese. It was like the size of a small car tire. And their kids would just walk up. I remember I was friends with the daughter and they had older sons, and they would just walk up and just like slice off pieces of cheese for snacks. I think it's so good. And of course their kitchen was always immaculate because that's what you do when food is sacred. And of course they had tile floors too. So of course the next meal was some delicious dinner, perhaps pasta with that marinara sauce. And after, they would of course clean up immediately. And then something really interesting might happen. Have you ever noticed Nonnas washing their driveway and outdoor spaces regularly? Actually, it would usually be the nonnos, the grandpas. They would take pride in this particular task. They would hose down their patios and their driveways until they were spotless. Because it's not just about the house interior. The entire property shows the family's pride in their homes, which I love. And you can see this in Italian neighborhoods all over the place. But now that the driveway is clean, they came to the final tidying and organization and to prepare for tomorrow's routine, making sure everything is put away and clean. Now, an interesting thing is that many Italian Nonna homes, and we've seen this in the movies, is the furniture covered in plastic. And that is real, but it's because they were decades ahead of the sustainability movement. Plastic covers weren't about being cheap. They were about protecting investments and making furniture last for decades. And I very much remember visiting friends whose nonnas had plastic covered furniture. Now, I cannot say that I enjoyed the feeling of sitting on them. I don't even like sitting on leather furniture, but their living rooms look like furniture showrooms even after decades of use. Mine don't. Like no. Anyway, their furniture, it also squeaked when you sat down, but it looked the exact same as the day they bought it, because those Italian nonnas didn't clean because they had to. They cleaned because their homes were a reflection of their values and their self-respect. When you care for your home like a nonna, you're not just cleaning, you're creating a sanctuary that supports your life. Another very interesting thing is some Italian nonnas mixed practical cleaning wisdom, Catholicism, and cultural beliefs in a way that actually made a little bit of sense. There was a little bit of superstition in there. If you spilled oil while cleaning, it meant you had to immediately throw salt on it, which happens to be the exact thing that prevents oil stains. Clean homes were believed to protect against negative influences. And there is actually some real psychology behind how our environment affects our mood and energy. And you know, I talk about that on this channel all the time. I mean, I have a membership all about it. But I want to remind you that these videos that I am making about these different cultures, they are about appreciating these cultures. It's certainly not a us and them situation, but it's also mostly about inspiring all of us to take more pleasure and pride in caring for our homes. When you see how Italian nonnas approach cleaning with pride, community, genuine satisfaction, it just transforms the whole experience from drudgery into something enjoyable. And it turns out treating your home like it matters actually makes you feel like you matter too. You're taking care of your family also, which I know you're like revolutionary concept. I always say food, water, and shelter. Your home is your shelter. We want to take care of ourselves, which involves taking care of our homes too. You don't need to become full Italian nonna to benefit from their wisdom. You just pick the techniques that fit your life. The all or nothing approach to lifestyle changes is why most of us fail. And because we're often trying to overhaul everything and we get burnt out. You just start one thing at a time, one Nonna technique, and build it from there. For busy modern women, the key is adapting the principles rather than copying every single detail. The daily maintenance concept works whether you're using a Mappina or a Swiffer. Natural ingredients work regardless of your cookware. So yes, Italian nonnas, they're resourceful, but wait until you see what women did during the Great Depression when they had to keep spotless homes with literally nothing. We're talking about women who made soap from kitchen scraps and created weekly cleaning schedules so efficient that they make modern productivity experts weep with envy. These were not just cleaning tips, they were survival systems. So you can watch that video right here. I hope something great happens for you today. Please like, subscribe, give us a hype. Stay tidy and mighty. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.